It's a hot one today here in the southeast. Beautiful blue skies. There's the beautiful sun there. So, truth to a T here. I'm here today to talk about uh, my favorite topic, government corruption. The big government ripoff. We all know it's happening. Anyway, I call myself the walking loser. I walk 5 miles a day, 5 days a week, and it helps me lose weight. So anyway, thanks for joining in. Now, I want to talk about gambling. At some point, everybody has put a little wager or bet, maybe even with a buddy betting on a game or whatever. But I remember, I'm going to take you back to the 80s. I was living in a small town up in upstate New York, and back then, the only places you could gamble would be places like Las Vegas and Atlantic City, casinos and such. But then you had in small towns anyway, you had your trusted local bookie. And we had a guy in our town, the guy's name was Mike, real nice man. He was married guy, had a couple of kids, good family man, good community man. He worked for a construction company. That was his other job, as they say. And anyway, if you wanted to bet a game, he was your guy. Somebody would give you his phone number. You'd call him up and you'd say, "I'll take the Giants 10 times." The time was $5, and then there was a little fee he would charge you. And if you lost, you paid up. If you won, he would show up, typically in a local bar. He'd meet you there and he'd slip you your winnings. It was harmless. There was nobody was getting hurt. And then there was another level of gambling that another friend of mine was involved in. He was involved with the big boys out of New York City. Most of those guys had Italian last names. And that was a whole other level. But he told us stories about when he was involved in gambling, how they had these setups in places like the Bronx, Manhattan, and they'd have rooms. Much of the time, these rooms were over bars, second floor rooms or third floor rooms, and nondescript buildings, nondescript neighborhoods, and they'd have a phone bank set up there. They might have 6 or 8 phones. People were there constantly answering the phones. And they all had connections to, basically connections to police departments. They had connections to fire departments, connections to law enforcement, obviously, various government entities. These guys were very, very organized. So every once in a while, they'd get a tip. And within 15 minutes, all those phones were gone, all the people were gone, all the papers were gone, the books were gone, and the place would be raided, and of course they had already moved on. It's very hard to catch these guys. This was organized crime. So, fast forward, there was a much better organized crime syndicate in place that were going to come along and take all that over. They were called the government. So all of a sudden, the government came up with this absolutely brilliant idea that they would run their own numbers. So no longer was a guy walking around every week picking up money, betting on the daily number. The government now took that over. And of course, they branded it as an education fund. They were going to fund education. They called it the lottery. And of course, they have the lottery. They have, how many lottery games do they have now? My God, it's gotten to the point where it's out of control. But folks, this is pure, unadulterated corruption. It's a total ripoff by the government. If you go into any gas station now, not alone do you have the lottery, but you have all these scratch-off cards, all this stuff. And I know people who are addicted to that. And of course, the government get away with this by putting a toll-free number on the back of the card. Hey, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800 blah, 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 blah. That toll-free number should actually say 1-800, you're a stupid fool to buy into this. This is a tax, folks. It's a tax on poor people. And if you go to any gas station or wherever they sell this stuff, all you have to do is watch who's buying this. These are typically poor people who don't have enough money as it is, and they're being ripped off by the government. And then the government come out with a report. Each state comes out with its report every year. And then they tell you about all the money that they're spending on education because of all this gambling money that they're collecting from poor people. Now, those same poor people are paying school taxes, which are exorbitantly high in most places. The teachers, by the way, are not getting paid enough in most cases. And the reason I came up with this topic today, I'm involved in a local civic group where we try to take care of our community, and we have picnics and fundraisers and this, that, and the other. And right now we're working on our plan for back to school. So what we do is we collect money from the community, and then parents can come in and give us a list of things that their child needs to go back to school, and we try to take care of them. We purchase these things and we distribute them. Of course, the reason we know that they need this stuff is that we talk to the teachers, the underpaid teachers, who are in a system that's completely broken, but that's another video. And they tell us, the school doesn't have enough supplies. We don't have supplies. Like, we need people to donate supplies. These teachers who are underpaid paid as it is, half the time they're going out and they're buying these supplies for their kids. These are amazing people. But you're paying for all this. You're paying through the lottery. And by the way, most of these poor people who need those school supplies are the ones that are addicted in the gas station, dreaming that they're going to have the winning lottery ticket that week. Folks, this is abuse. This is government abuse at its highest. And all you have to do is look at the payroll that's involved at the lottery administration, and you'll realize that they're just taking care of their cronies. They don't care about the people. They don't care about education. They don't care about anybody, only themselves. So, as far as I'm concerned, all they did years ago was they took an honest man who was making an honest living out of business. They took over his business, and now they control it. The government are doing this in every single area, and I think it's an absolute disgrace. So I don't know what we can do about this. It's obviously out of control. The government are totally running our lives, and this is just one topic. I mean, I'll probably do more videos on what I'm seeing in the government, and it's absolutely disgraceful. Our school system is a complete disaster. And it's not a disaster because of teachers. It's a disaster because of the administration who are running it. And if you think your kids are getting a good education in public schools, think again. I think it's really sad that poor people are being taxed to gamble. It's really, really sad. Anyway, I don't know what to do about this. Maybe you guys can help. maybe you guys can give me some comments that tell me I'm completely wrong about this. And maybe you can tell me that the lottery is a great system. And maybe you can tell me that the money that the schools are getting from lottery is really great, and they're doing a great job. Maybe you can tell me that all these people working for the government in their legal gambling business are good people. But please enlighten me, because all I'm seeing here is corruption, and I think it's time for people to stand up and take a stand on this stuff. We've got to stop continuing to keep voting for these idiots. And please don't tell me that your party is better, or your guy is better, or your girl is better. As far as I'm concerned, both are corrupt. All politicians are corrupt. Some get into the business of politics to genuinely change things and genuinely help their community. But then all of a sudden, I think they get addicted to money. And in that moment, it's all over. All they care about is themselves. But anyway, look into this stuff. Tell me where I'm wrong, please. And if you have any ideas on how we could all make this better, please don't hesitate to let me know. Anyway, thanks for listening to me jabber on, ramble on about stuff maybe I know nothing about. But I need to get this stuff out there because it helps me. And I hope you'll all start walking with me. I really enjoy my walks. And now I still got about 4 miles more to do today. So I'm kind of slacking off here. So I got to get moving. But listen, do me a favor. Whatever you do, love yourself first. Take care of yourself first. And then please take care of each other. God bless you.